Hello there, Internet. Mogwai here, and I got another video for you guys today from my girlfriend's room in Brasilia, Brazil, as I'm going to showcase off a new and modified and evolved, like a Pokemon, version of the Mardu Aristocrats deck, and it is right here. It's titled Die For Me, and yeah, it's basically a redo of my Mardu Aristocrats list that I showcased off a week ago on my channel. I decided to go back to this archetype and take a different approach at it because there are two cards that I did not incorporate onto my first list, which was more of a token deck, more so than Aristocrats really, because the so-called, like, the Death Wish Enabler, that's how I label it, was the Pitiless Pontiff, which is obviously more of a tool for pressure than an actual, like, you know, synergy catalyst. As Priest of the Forgotten Gods is, right? Like, Priest of the Forgotten Gods makes our Judith much more powerful than Pitiless Pontiff does, and this deck is perhaps a bit less smorky, aka aggressive, than the prior version that I showcased off, but it has a stronger synergy core. And I want to showcase off the Priest of the Forgotten Gods and Revival / Revenge in this particular deck, because these are the two big changes that I've incorporated onto the list, and it plays out quite differently. And oh boy, when the synergy goes through, it is some of the most fun you'll have in MTG. Priest of the Forgotten Gods is, as you can see here, a 2-mana human cleric creature with 1 power and 2 toughness, and an ability that says the following: when you tap the Priest of the Forgotten Gods, you sacrifice 2 other creatures, and then any number of target players, generally like your opponent, lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature themselves. And then you add 2 sources of black mana and you draw a card. So this is a very powerful effect if it goes through, especially considering we have a bunch of afterlife effects units. Like, honestly, most of our units leave something behind when they die. And this is a big enabler for the likes of Judith and Teysa Karlov. Like, Judith is the most important legendary, or the most important creature in this deck, alongside the Priest of the Forgotten Gods, because when both of these combine, we can deal some massive damage to the opponent and gain some good momentum as well. And the fact that we're running 4 copies of Revival makes it so that we're not really too concerned with our Priest or Judith getting removed, as we can pay 2 mana and just resurrect them onto the board from the battlefield. And what's so cool about this card too is that it's actually really solid against mono red aggro, as well as it can enable us to, as you can see there, go for revenge and double our life total, and then take our opponent's life total down by half, rounded up, right? So if we have 8 health, then we gain 8 health. If we have 5 health, then we gain 5 health. So in a certain situation, this card can really save us from, dying to mono red aggro, and it can be quite key. So very, very flexible, and a card that I definitely overlooked at first, and works really well, like I said, with our engines here in Judith and the Priest. Also, we have Midnight Reaper to enable us to not run out of steam when we're facing control decks and they board wipe us. Even though if they do board wipe us, we have obviously a bunch of afterlife effects to enable us to keep on pushing forward. And the rest of the deck is pretty self-explanatory. I did go over this deck list in my Teysa Mardu Aristocrats video, in which I spoke a little bit about, my afterlife creatures and such. I have 4 Orzhov Enforcers now because this guy is just really good. Not only in the mid-range matchup, but he also survives the Goblin Chain Warlord because he has 2 health instead of 1. So there's a lot of scenarios in which Orzhov Enforcer just puts in quite a bit of work and enables me to trade. And I can get quite a bit out of his Death Touch ability, which is why I opted to go with 4 copies of him instead of like 3 copies of Martyr Dust, for example. And that is the deck list right there. Very fun, and I do have 3 games to showcase off with it. I did not have time to record more, as I am in a bit of a rush recording this video because I'm just running really bad on time. I know my last 3 videos have been, quite affected by time constraints. It's just I'm in the middle of a trip and there's a lot of stuff going on, and like I said, I don't have the most time as of right now, but I do want to make sure that I keep the daily uploads going, and I do promise that from tomorrow onwards, I won't be in such a rush to record my videos and my intros and all that. I do think I got some really good quality gameplay today, and I think you'll enjoy it. And that's all I gotta say. Have a solid day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with more. All right, here we go. Mardu Aristocrats, the return. That sounds so bad. Anyways, I'm excited to play this deck again. I'm a big fan of Priest of the Forgotten Gods here. Really, and Revival, like these two cards. Like the fact that we have the both cards, the two cards that I'm most excited to showcase off because they are the big difference between this deck and the one that I showed prior, is quite big. And this is a very promising hand, actually. We have all three sources of mana available in our hand. You know, red, white, and black. And we can lead off with a Sacred Foundry here and drop a nice little Chapo next turn. And drop the Priest of the Forgotten Gods. It seems we are facing mono red aggro. We'll drop her. Still. Obviously, Midnight Reaper in this matchup can become a bit more of a liability. I expect him to eliminate this with some sort of out-of-end damage. You know, Shock, Lightning Strike. Several different things do it here. There is a Wizard's Lightning. And they light up the stage. That's unfortunate because he does get a shock. Which is obviously not what we want to see. I think I'm going to want to drop the Tithe Taker. Because if he does want to shock us, then at least he won't gain the most value out of it. Get a birdie behind. We're not gonna block that. We're gonna take the hit. As of right now, we haven't taken as much damage. Revival Revenge can be really good in this matchup, but we need to curve out properly when we've missed a land drop, despite us having 3 lands in our opening hand, which is definitely very unfortunate. I could drop the Midnight Reaper, threatening to trade off with this and get me some fuel, which is something that I could really use. And if it does go down, I will take 1 extra damage, but I still rather take this because I need to improve my odds of being able to actually like curve out here. Yeah, I'll take 1 damage to the face, but the card draw is definitely worth it in that scenario, or in that case. There is a land. And they light up a stage. And the Skewer the Critics, which you can play right now. And he will. He most certainly will. I definitely need to block this at this point. I need to see if I can curve out. I'm going to drop double Priest of the Forgotten Gods here. Attempt to stabilize a little bit, because if I can tap her, I can curve out into Revival Revenge and potentially get my health back. I'm obviously in a bad position here. I'm gonna take the hit. Am I? I can't afford to do that. No. I'm just gonna block with 1 though, because I don't expect. I expect him to have like out-of-hand damage, so I'm gonna keep it that way. Though I could have just traded both. Okay, so that's what he wanted to do. What are our options here? Heroic Reinforcements can give us 2 different bodies, but it's just too slow overall. We have to play the Martyr of Dusk. And we have to play this. And take the Tithe Taker. Wait, we gotta call that our turn. trade with that. Okay. We're actually not out of this. We can use we can ramp into Revenge and basically gain a shitload of life. But we have to attack with these first. I'm gonna attack with these two. I'm gonna sacrifice them anyways. I'm gonna target him. Gonna apply the Priest of Forgotten Gods ability. Gonna sacrifice these two. Forcing him to sacrifice one of his creatures here. Got blocked there. Okay, so sorry, I'm like very focused here. I could proc her, but I have to do things differently here. Okay. All right. And we got him, boys! And we got him! Oh! Oh, baby! My duration was probably like really bad because I was like so focused. Oh my god. That was so sick. I'm recording, right? Because I'm on my laptop and I can't like check it immediately. Okay, we are. Oh my god, that was sick. That was so good. Oh, the revenge keeping us alive. Though that lightning strike hurt us so bad because I was gonna gain so much more life, right? But because he hit me with the lightning strike, I was only able to gain 4 life out of it. But we barely managed to stay alive. Oh my god, that was so sweet. All right, so we have another. We're missing our turn 1 play here. I'm going to keep this hand, though, because I can play a turn 2 Orzhov Enforcer, and, you know, I got to believe in the heart of the cards a little bit here. As, you know, all I need to do is draw into some lands, and it'll be fine. It'll all be okay. Optimism. All right, let's drop the Orzhov Enforcer on curve here. As that's a Gruul. Okay, this is a gate deck. All right. That's good to know. Alright, there it is. We're gonna play Judith. We gotta apply pressure. Against a gate deck, we gotta be aggressive. We have heroic reinforcements here to just finish off our opponent here, potentially. And we got Judith. If he does wipe out this board, we can just play another Judith. Like, we have all the tools to apply really strong pressure onto our opponent. We're gonna drop the Midnight Reaper here. And we're going to go phase with these two. If our opponent does board wipe us, we will refuel. We got to be the aggressor here. Heroic Reinforcements, very, very powerful in conjunction with Judith, as we do get, you know, +1 attack on everything. We have to watch out for, you know, open the gates. No, not open the gates. What is the AoE? Gates Ablaze. He could be also playing Deafening Clarion. Maybe he has single target removal, and that's what he's debating here. If he has it, he has to go for it. It's gonna hurt him a little bit, but he can't. Like, if he can afford to wipe out this board, he should. Oh, he's just gonna play the goat. All right. Okay. I'm gonna attack with everything because we have more Judith in hand, so he's gonna be encouraged to trade into this. But he's gonna trade into the Reaper instead. All right. Well, obviously I'll finish that off. And I'll just play another Enforcer. And the Hunted Witness. Still curving out. Swell. This is the beautiful thing about our board right now, because unless he has a Cry of the Carnarium, which he has no black mana for, even if he board wipes us, we still just... Oh, this is beautiful. We deal 4 damage face. Barrel! Bam! 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 That was probably like really bad, but 4 to face, 3 tokens in the afterlife, and we got another Judith, which will seal the deal in that game, or this game. My English will improve, I promise, is over. Damn, that narration. Believe me, I know. Alright, Judith, my love, let's put an end to this. Let's put an end to this nonsense. GG. Oh! Oh, that's sick. God, I love you some Aristocrats. Oh my god. That was sexy. That was sexy as hell. Okay, how am I doing on time? We were 50 minutes in. We still got some time. Alright, sweet. Let's go for another one. So happy I got to showcase off the Priest of the Forgotten Gods, like, in the first game. That was so damn good. The only thing that would leave a bittersweet feeling is if I made some sort of, like, key misplay. Which, you know, definitely could have happened. I'll keep this hand. We curve out into one of these two drops. And we have a Judith in hand. Oh, birdie. I gotta build a deck with a Sphinx of Foresight. I always keep forgetting to do so, but I think it's a really good 4-drop. It must feel amazing to opening it in your opening hand. Oh man, that's really good for him. He would send 2 of the cards at the top of his deck to the bottom. He may be playing Simic here. We're gonna lead off with a Sacred Foundry. And we're gonna call it a turn. A search for Skanta on curve. We are going to drop the Tithe Taker. Because I see blue, I see a search for Skanta. I think counterspells. So we want to make his counterspells harder to cast. So we drop the Tithe Taker first. Also, he has the highest attack stat, which means that he applies the most pressure immediately. And let's see what our opponent does here. A Growth Spiral, which he has to play on our turn because of the Tithe Taker ability. And just in time, we curve out into... I could mortify this search for Skanta, but I'd rather preserve it for something else. I'm going to play Judith now. Can't really counterspell this. And we smorkin. We be smorkin. So Timur. We're facing Timur. Maybe some sort of ramp. We've yet to see a counterspell from him, actually, but... Let's see what he has to go for here. Alright, there's the Sphinx. And we're definitely going to mortify this. Actually, we can attack with the Tithe Taker. We don't need to mortify this per se. We can actually develop the board a little bit more. Because if he trades with this, then I'll ping it for 1. Yeah, let's be smart about things. I'd rather flood the board. Yeah, I don't think he's trading. Exactly. Let's drop the Orzhov Enforcer and the Hunted Witness. Let's flood the board, like I said. Let's focus on establishing board presence before he draws into potential resources to mitigate this. Alright, whatever he had on top of his deck he wanted to keep. Gift of Paradise. And now is when we want to mortify that. Because we want to smork him, right? How much damage are we looking at here? 7, 9. That's a 2-turn KO. Like I have 2 lines of play. I can either do that or I can Midnight Reaper. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, this makes it so that I can only attack with these 2. But I think that's fine. This though, this really applies pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Mortify. Okay. Right, so he gets card draw. He must be some sort of like Nexus deck. We're gonna play Taza. Alright, so he's stalling our damage, but with the dynamic duel here on the board, even if he does board wipe me, I'll deal like how much damage? 10 damage to face, and I'll preserve. I'll have like I'll have like a total of 6 tokens on board. Okay, there's a Nexus of Fate. I knew it, but he's yet to actually like develop a board for it. Like he does not have the board state to do it. And right now, there's no threat of Set of the Wreckage because he's not playing white. He's playing Timur. Alright, he's going for the card draw, but he's wide open. He's wide open here. And if I drop the Midnight Reaper, if he board wipes, then it's... Actually, no, I should just drop double Orzhov Enforcer here. Alright, let's smork with everything. Let's actually just drop a Midnight Reaper and the Hunted Witness. Though I gotta be careful because I take... If he board wipes me, I take 14 damage. I take 14 damage. That's... I gotta be careful with that. That's a bit of an odd... Okay, he's keeping 2 at the top. All I need to do is draw into a Priest of the Forgotten Gods. If I do that... Oh, shit. This could be over. We've established quite the board state here, but if he has an Nexus of Fate in hand... Man, the way these 2 cards synergize is kind of crazy. Man, we applied so much pressure, but unfortunately, if he creates the infinite loop here, yeah. Yep. Yep. He's built up so much mana, and we have not been able to deal enough damage, unfortunately. He seems to have no lands in hand, which makes the odds of him having another Nexus quite high, actually. And with this, like, if they get this card on the board, then they just go ham. Like, they have a ridiculous amount of mana. Like, this card just breaks the deck. And yeah, I think I've rambled and ranted about this card enough at this point in this channel. Like, I think I've made my position on the design of Wilderness Reclamation quite clear at this point. And there's no need for me to repeat myself, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. This card is absolutely ridiculous. Newsflash, I know. Yeah, it seems unfortunately we will fall. I mean, like I said, we don't have ways to proc our... Like, there's no doubt in my mind that he has like a way to prevent combat damage here. Which is why me top decking a Priest of the Forgotten Gods would have been great there. I can't play these Orzhov Enforcers because he actually kills me with a board wipe. Because right now, if he cleansing, he has Syncope. Oh, interesting. If he cleansing Novas me, then he dies. Oh boy, another one. In case you're new watching MTG and you want to learn more about this card, they actually proc individually. So this enchantment right here will proc, and then this one will proc after. So basically, another Wilderness Reclamation will make it so my opponent has triple the mana. And not only triple the mana, but my opponent can proc. Okay, yeah. Okay. That is indeed all she wrote. That's a fine card. That is a fine card.